go to you. All right, everybody. Welcome back. One-and-Done-athon Season 2. This is a run I'm super hyped for, and I know Hobbs is super hyped for as well. Max level Super Boss Rush through Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 HD Remix. Man, that title's a mouthful, but IBA, take it away.
I am IBA all day. So this is kind of a very unique category in itself. So I kind of got some inspiration in this category from watching Bizkit047. Several years back, he was doing a full series, Super Boss Rush, at level 1, just for the fun of it. And over the last several months, I kind of started getting the idea of wanting to see how far I could push this in kind of a max level setting. And it originally started with just 1FM and 2FM, and then we started adding in Birth by Sleep. And then my ultimate goal is to eventually have an entire series run at a max level setting, just to be able to show off in a super cool, fun way. Because you don't really get to see these super bosses all that much unless you're playing casually or you're seeing extended categories for speedruns. So you don't really get to see these guys all that much. And so being in a max level setting, we're going to be destroying these guys who are going to be typically really tough to beat. And we're doing this at a high setting as well. So for both Birth by Sleep and 2FM, we're going to be playing on critical, which is the highest setting that is available for those games. And then for 1FM, the setting is Proud Mode, because that's the highest setting for KH1. And to step it up even further, for the Birth by Sleep section, we're playing as Terra, who honestly is probably one of the hardest ones to do super boss-wise, because he doesn't have the same luxury for his dodge mechanics as Aqua and Ventus, who have kind of like a cartwheel type motion, so their flow of motion for dodging is a lot easier than Terra, who does slide dashing. And on top of that, with Aqua, you're able to guard all around you, and Terra and Ben, you have to guard kind of face on, so if you have to guard any attacks, you have to be very precise with it. The upside, though, is Terra is one of the strongest characters strength-wise, so it does make that a little bit easier in that regard. But without much further ado, we'll get right on into this. So time will start once we skip the cutscene. So I have it set up this way, just so that way you need a moment before you start. Just kind of catch your breath, and we'll hop into it. So our first fight is going to be Mysterious Figure, who's honestly the toughest fight in this entire sequence. He's very unpredictable in terms of his movesets, so we have to kind of be able to react to everything that he's doing. And at a certain point in the fight, he will turn invisible, which makes it even tougher because we can't target lock him anymore. So we have to be able to keep track of him manually and also do all of our attacks while keeping an eye out for all of his attack patterns. And since this is critical mode, pretty much everything is going to put us at 1 HP if I get hit, but we're safe for most of the attacks due to Once More and Second Chance. So we'll definitely be utilizing Cure quite a bit in these fights just to kind of keep ourselves on upright. So counting down here in 3, 2, 1. So right away we're going to be trying to get close to the Mysterious Figure here, and we're going to be doing a bunch of maneuvers called Thunder Surge. Thunder Surge allows us to propel forward and it's honestly kind of one of the strongest attacks for this fight. And we're going to be utilizing it quite a bit. The big thing with this fight as well is we're going to be doing form changes, which happens due to doing certain attacks. And the one thing we have to be very careful about is running out of our form. Because when we run out of our form, unfortunately, in this game, it does slow you down, or it delays your input, actually. And so if you're going to try and slide dash or guard, that will be completely delayed. So if you're at 1 HP for any reason and that happens, you're probably going to die. So unfortunately we're getting hit by his fire pillar here, which is perfectly fine. We're just going to cure off of that real quick. His little wind attack here that he's doing it quite a bit here. If that hits, you lose all your commands, which is kind of a big deal because you're not able to heal. And on top of that, his little arrow attack that he does there is unguardable, so you have to be able to dodge out of the way. Roughly 80% of his attacks are guardable. And now, as you can see, his health now is down to about the halfway point. So now he's going to be going invisible. There is a way for us to delay that if we can kind of apply the pressure. But once we get into the second half of this fight, this is where things get scary. Mysterious Figure is known very well for going full kill mode, which is kind of what just happened there, unfortunately. So if he does a meteor attack or an explosion, unfortunately, if you don't dodge them or cure through them, you're going to be left at 1 HP, and he'll typically quickly follow up with another attack immediately after that. So that's what makes this fight super tough. I dodged right into that instead of healing. I was worried about him doing a wind attack there. But the big thing with Mysterious Figure is he has a lot of combinations, unfortunately, that make it into a full kill mode. And there's literally nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. Even with Second Chance and Once More, those will pretty much be negated. And it's just kind of it's a hopeless feeling, really. Like, it's nothing that you did wrong, it's just he decided that, hey, we're just gonna full send it and take you out. But if we're able to maintain control of him, especially preventing him from going invisible, it'll make it so much easier for us to kind of keep control in the second half of the fight. Because, again, we'll be able to target lock him the whole time, which makes it very easy to track. Especially with Thunder Surges. Because when we're not target locked, the Thunder Surges won't go towards your target, unfortunately. Ooh, actually, I'm kind of glad that he did that. So, what he did there is he can split himself up into clones, which is another maneuver of his. Also very dangerous, because if you don't get rid of his clones, like right away, you kind of risk leaving yourself to a blitz of an attack, which can leave you stun locked once the attack is fully done. And unfortunately, if you do get stunned by... I'm pretty sure what just happened there was my command ran out, which caused me to not be able to guard. We're not off to a good start. I apologize.
Dude, this boss is tough. Holy moly.
Yeah, this is the toughest fight. This is why I open up with this fight, because this fight is the toughest fight in this whole entire run, because of the unpredictability that he has, and just the amount of moves that he has in general as well, the speed that he has. You can utilize physical attacks on him, but I don't recommend it, because it does literally nothing to him. And on top of that, if you do physical attacks, Mysterious Figure also has a move where he rewinds time. It doesn't really do much of anything. That's unfortunate. I didn't get the commands back. We're good though. We got this.
Yeah, this really.
There's a reason. There's a reason that this fight is. It's awesome, but it's definitely very tricky to maneuver. But we definitely got this. I'm not sweating it.
Yeah,
we just gotta kind of keep the pressure on him, because, even though he's guarding and getting his health back slightly, it's not a huge amount of health that he's getting back. So it's not really that big of a deal. You just don't want to do it too much, because then you're kind of backtracking on health, and you're kind of putting yourself... Okay. Guard that. Don't really want to guard that, but it's okay.
Once More does so much work here.
The nice thing is, even though he can be very blitz heavy in attacks, there are certain attacks that he does which kind of gives you a moment to breathe. Like this little tether that he does to fling you up into the air. Ooh, okay. Don't want to be seeing those. So those are Doom Tethers, as I call them. Big thing with Doom Tethers is not only do they leave you at 1 HP, but they have a counter. If that timer hits 0, you die automatically. And unfortunately, he can also do those in succession. So, kind of like right there.
Oof. Jeez.
I discovered the other day, as a matter of fact, I don't know if it's already been known, but you can actually guard against his Doom Tether. But the catch is, again, you have to guard it head on. So if he's invisible already, it makes it really difficult to guard against it. But it's just kind of a quick thing, so there's not really a way to actually expect for it to happen. So it was kind of a fluke that it happened, that it guarded against it the other day when I was doing some practice. And it just kind of caught me off guard that I actually was able to guard that. Alright, so Fire Pillars, again, I kind of have a way too to be able to do a little bit of damage, even at the expense of yourself, but I'm gonna guard this. Only because I was in at 1 HP, so doing a Thunder Surge would have been very, very risky. It's fine. That attack actually, fun fact, can kill you even with second chance once more. I don't know the exact reasoning behind it, but I think it could. I think part of it has to do with the timing, but also if you happen to be like moving your joystick during that time, I think that's also another reason as to what causes that. But yeah, it's a maneuver that I don't like seeing that all that much because it's kind of a 50-50 as to whether or not I'm going to live, and I don't like having a good fight and then having that get wasted because of him deciding to dash around. It's guardable, but again, it's kind of a head-on thing. So, all right. So far, he hasn't gone invisible yet. So this is good. We're gonna keep healing just because I'm gonna kind of try and play as safe as I can at this point, just so I don't lose complete control of this fight. Because this is a blessing, seeing him not go invisible yet. So, and at least he's doing Fire Pillar, so this is also a big advantage here to helping us out. And got him.
Nice.
Yeah, this run is like the BBS portion is definitely the trickiest to maneuver. So now after this fight, I'm going to be switching command decks to a deck that contains nothing but Mega Potions. Because this next fight, we're not going to be utilizing any kind of abilities. We're just going to be doing straight up physical attacks on Vanitas Remnants. And the reason for that is we do not want anything to do with forms in this fight. And on top of that, I have a finished command called Twisted Hours, which is very strong with this Keyblade that I'm using. This Keyblade is called Sweet Stacks, and this Keyblade grants me 100% crit rate every time on every hit. So no matter what, I get a crit, which makes this fight very nice to deal with. And again, because of the fact that we don't want to deal with, I'm gonna not do a finisher there. So Vanitas is also another tricky one, just because he's also very unpredictable. Alright, we're good. Ooh, perfect. Oh, we hit him out of it, unfortunately. Oh, balled up quickly. That can happen, unfortunately. So, Vanitas is the next toughest fight in this sequence. Also kind of unpredictable. Gotta be able to react to what he can do. However, his opening is very predictable. He will try and do his, sec here. So what he'll try and do is he'll either say what's yours is mine or vanquish, and he'll form a black orb around himself that you cannot penetrate, and he will unleash 6 clones of himself at you, all which can inflict darkness. We don't want that to happen because of the fact that if we get afflicted with blindness, we cannot target lock, which makes it very dangerous while we're afflicted with that. And if Vanitas decides to try and sneak up on us really quickly, uh-oh. Yikes. Okay, that's fine. Alright, this is fine. Dodge, 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 jump. And I do that for, I say that while I'm doing that just for myself, as kind of like a timing method, because if you keep a certain distance from his orb, you're able to kind of keep yourself in a good rhythm while you're dodging his 6 clones before he comes out. That's... okay, that's fine. That's fine. So the next attack here... oh, and he didn't follow through again. Oh, perfect. If we can get him doing this attack here where he like does a mini shot lock, we're able to dish out so much damage to him. But unfortunately, he's being very hyper-aggressive in terms of some of his attacks, so we're kind of having to be on the extreme defensive here. Because certain attacks that he does makes it very tough to be able to kind of counter. Especially this one, if he doesn't follow through and you're low on health, it makes it very, very dangerous. And hopefully we can finish the kill here. Nope, that's fine. I'm gonna pop another Mega Potion here. It's fine. We're gonna kind of wait for this confusion to wear off. When he launches that little singular blade at us, it can inflict confusion on us, which is very dangerous in this fight, unfortunately. We're gonna be a little bit aggressive here. There we go. So Twisted Hours, if we can get that a lot in this fight, it makes it really easy because we're completely immune to anything that happens after the fact. So he can't hurt us the entire time that Twisted Hours is happening. And you get 3 throws, which makes it really, really nice for dishing out damage. Again, because of the fact that we have the Keyblade that we're using, Twisted Hours does actually a lot of damage. And so now we're switching our command deck once again here. I'm going to be throwing on 2 Kiragas and Daisy Surveyors. The Daisy Surveyors, what they do, they're a special ice cream which allows us to automatically enter into a form. And the form that we're going to be entering is called Rhythm Mixer, which is one of the strongest finished forms in this game. And we're going to be utilizing that for Master Ericus here. If we can utilize this position-wise and timing, we can do a lot of damage in a hurry in this fight. So we're just going to pop both of them right away. Hopefully wait for Ericus to attack here. Perfect. And if you know where the thing is at, you can do 3 inputs on each thing before the finisher would come out. And each of those do a lot of damage. I'm going to get kind of away here. I have a chance to attack again, but it's kind of not favorable with what he's doing. My thing froze. Hold on. I just now noticed that. My cat stepped on the cord. One sec. Come on. There we go. Apologies for that. My cat literally stepped right on my capture card cord. Alright. Gonna be able to follow up again here because Ericus is attacking. This is basically just what we're doing this whole entire fight. What I used to do was Thunder Surges in this fight, and then I discovered how strong Rhythm Mixer damage-wise was when I got it, and I started playing around with the Rhythm Mixer finisher and discovered just the potential of this fight, and it makes it an extremely free fight as well. For the most part, anyway. Again, it comes down to positioning because Ericus can still guard in some regards, so you have to be very careful on when you use the finisher. So now, once more, we're going to be switching command decks here, and we're going to be taking on the last boss of our BPS portion, and then it'll be on to 1FM. So with this, we're going to be mostly using Thunder Surges for this fight until we get Rhythm Mixer, and then I'm going to be using Rhythm Mixer physical attacks until I get to the finisher, and then I'm going to save the finisher for the next part of this fight. For those who fight this for the first time ever, would just think that this is the actual fight. It is not. It's divided into two parts. The first part is dealing with this mirror here, which can move around all over the place, and you're being attacked by Keyblades and also Dark Orbs as well. This fight isn't really too scary to start, but it's the next part that can be really interesting. So the reason I use Rhythm Mixer basic attacks on once I get Rhythm Mixer is for the reason that I'm able to dish out a lot of damage just doing the basic attacks until I get to the finisher. And the reason I save the finisher is this next part. If we do this right, and Armor North cooperates with us, we can immediately take out about 3 bars of his health before we can start really laying into him. And unfortunately, he dashed towards me, so we'll see what happens here. Getting a lot of good damage in right now. Not quite 3 bars, but still a pretty solid start here. Oh, okay, that's new. I haven't been attacked by that before, so I did not know that that was going to actually kill. That's actually a new one for me. I've not once seen that move. So now I know that that move, and basically because of the fact that Armanort is very powerful and it's on crit, we'll be left at 1 HP either way, so if he ends up doing that, then there's nothing you can do, unfortunately. So, oh, didn't mean to use Cure. So that is definitely good to know, because like I said, that is the first time that's actually ever happened to me with him using that attack. I've never actually seen that before, so it just kind of was very, very unexpected. That's alright, we'll have a good second effort here. So the thing with Armor Nort, we're going to be utilizing, once we do the finisher, I'm going to be utilizing a lot of shot lock called Bio Barrage, and Bio Barrage is very strong for Armor Nort, especially if you're able to get a bunch of excellence popped off. I think you can get like 5 or 6 excellence before the full shot lock is completed, and you can dish out a lot of damage in a hurry. I'm able to get 2 full shot locks in as well before I would have to recharge my focus, which I have a nifty little ability called Focus Barrier or Focus Guard. And what that allows me to do is any attacks that I guard, similar to my Renewal that you saw during Mysterious Figure and Vanitas Remnants, is every time I guard with Renewal, I get health back, but in this case, what happens is I get my focus back. We gotta heal. So now we're gonna try and hope for a bunch of excellence here, and it just comes down to timing. He's gonna be zooming around all over the place, so we just gotta be hoping to do a bunch of excellence, and also hope that he doesn't bring out his mirror. Because if he brings out his mirror, then unfortunately we're unable to do really much of anything in terms of damage. Right now he's kind of being a pain. But that's alright. We will overpower him. So, coming up here very quickly, as a matter of fact, he just kind of went into his next phase. So if he goes into the sky here, which is very likely, yep, you get out of there, you get out of there. So if he hits me with this attack, I'm stunned. I didn't think he was going to get that close. That's what I was just going to cover too. So when he goes up into the air like that and comes crashing down, unfortunately, if you get caught in that, you are stun locked. And similar to Mysterious Figure, if you get stunned, there's nothing you can do about it. You're as good as done because both of the bosses will follow up in enough time with another attack. So it's kind of an unfortunate thing. I wasn't where he went up at, I figured I still had enough room, which really was honestly a miscalculation on my part, especially since I was trying to squeeze in a shot lock there while he was doing that. His little AoE slam that he does, though, for that can be avoided by just jumping or using Cure, because of Leaf Racer pretty much, and also we can also shot lock through it. We can also Thunder Surge, Slide Dash for the most part, but those are a little riskier because it comes down to timing. And I actually learned something the other day from a man named Dessa, 35, on the PSP version, because on the PSP final mixes and the original, online multiplayer for the arenas was an actual thing. So all the bosses had a lot more health and were a lot stronger than what they are now, because when it all got ported to PS3 and PS4, they took away the actual arenas option to actually like match with other players and be able to play with them for other arena activities. This is fine. We're going to do a Thunder Surge here, just kind of get him off my back for a moment. But the whole nature of this fight is, after doing the Rhythm Mixer finisher, we follow up with a bunch of Bio Barrage shot locks, while kind of being careful with his health. Because once he, like I said, once he goes into that transformation, that's when things start getting scary, because he can stun lock. He can also do a maneuver similar to Sephiroth's Sin Harvest. Doesn't have to necessarily be stopped, but it's to the nature where... Ooh, this is perfect. I'll be able to get my focus back here. Need to move, need to move, need to move. Oh boy, I almost ran right into that. He is definitely not making this... But that's perfect though. Even though we got slowed by that, we were able to at least move enough to be able to shot lock him again. We're gonna have to probably do another shot. Yeah, we're gonna have to do at least one more shot lock here. It's perfect. He stayed right there. Should be wrapping up this fight now. So now what I'm gonna do, instead of having to go through the whole motion of ending, like the fight ending, I do a soft reset for both BBS and 1FM to quickly get back to the menu. So that I can move on to the next game, which now we're going to be moving on to 1FM's portion of this run. We have 5 super bosses in this portion, all of which are a lot of fun to fight. Hopefully, be able to put together some real good fights for this one. There's a couple definitely scary fights for sure, but for the most part, 1FM's a little bit tamer compared to what we just went through for Birth by Sleep. And as you can see right away, our stats for Sora are through the roof in terms of magic and our health. Our strength is up there pretty well as on top of that, and we're also using Ultimate Weapon. So right away with Sephiroth here, we're going to dodge roll forward, which allows us to avoid Sephiroth's one of two openings that he can do. So Sephiroth will either walk towards you and swing his sword, or Sephiroth will jump forward and swing his sword. If he jumps forward and swings his sword at you, you can't really dodge roll it, unfortunately. So you just kind of have to wait for Sephiroth to jump over for you to be able to start doing your attack. And what we really want to have him do is Fire Pillars, as Fire Pillars makes it really easy to control this fight. If Sephiroth is jumping all over the place, it makes it extremely difficult to be able to kind of keep him under control here. So now he's hit up his power phase here. Gonna hope to stun him, which we did not. His stagger is a little tough to get, as Sephiroth is a very hard enemy to stagger. If we were able to stagger him there, we would have been able to avoid his DM, which is what he's currently doing right now. It's a very easy DM to dodge. It just eats up a lot of time, unfortunately. So we're going to follow up with Ars Arcanum here afterwards. We're going to not allow him to fully start moving around, because that's when things, again, kind of get real interesting. We want him to fully try and be doing Fire Pillars, once again, coming out of his DM, just so we can kind of keep control. And the reason I didn't follow through with Ars Arcanums there is he has a tendency, once he gets out of his DM, of doing a bunch of Sin Harvests consecutively. And at that point in this fight, I don't want to risk getting hit by that, as it leaves you with no magic and a 1 HP. So our next fight here is Ice Titan. We're going to be guarding his little icicles that come at us, and going to be trying to time our gravity magic here. When Ice Titan's head resets back to an upright position here, I use gravity to deal a little bit of damage to his head, because the only other way really is either casting other magic, or deflecting his icicles back at him. There isn't really any other effective method to being able to hit his head, because that's the only target that he has, unfortunately. So do 2 full air combos here, and then after the second full air combo, it's just going to be a bunch of air hits just to squeeze in more damage. And then I'm going to follow up with a Gravity, Thunder, Gravity, and that's just to try and get in some extra damage before he launches his barrage of icicles at us. And that's really good damage, actually. Normally, what'll happen is after the initial ice barrage, he will do his Ice Breath attack moving over. But instead, we got him straight into his green section of his health, which means that he starts doing his AoE freeze here that he's doing right now again. It's a very easy maneuver to avoid depending on where you're standing. And then immediately after, he will have launched another sequence of icicles at you. And that's basically just what we're going to be doing this whole entire fight until we're done. Again, we're going to follow up with just air hits, because we want to try and get in some extra hits the best that we can. And we're going to also, again, try and get some icicle hits in here. We're going to heal, just be safe. I'm not going to try and thunder him at this point. He is thunderable to be taken out for his health state, but I'm not going to try and chance that. I don't use an elixir in this fight because with how I have it set up, there's no need to use one unless I've taken a lot of damage and have to heal a lot. But I'm trying to save my elixirs for the later portions, especially for our final fight of the 1FM portion. as I'm going to need as many of those as I can just to kind of help with keeping my party members alive and also kind of being able to be aggressive in that fight. But our next fight is now Kurt Ziza. Kurt Ziza is an interesting fight. It was discovered that it can't. You can do a 1 cycle in this fight after you break the little arm lockout here that he has that locks out your ability to use any magic. It is very tricky and it can be very tight in trying to be able to get this 1 cycle, but if we're able to pull this off, it saves at least 30 to 45 seconds depending on what happens after not being a 1 cycle here. So I'm going to follow with a bunch of gravities as soon as breaking him while Goofy is doing a bunch of tornadoes, and then I'm going to start jumping into the mix as well. Goofy's not doing really any tornadoes here, but we got it. Goofy doing tornadoes the whole entire time through that makes it so nice in terms of damage output from both myself and Sora, but also it increases the likelihood of us staggering Kurt Ziza's Python head. If you're able to parry the Python head, you kind of get a little bit of extra time to be able to deal extra damage before his head fully resets, which allows us to be able to get that 1 cycle that we just did right there. And so now, I deem this the boring fight of the run, mainly because this fight, the gimmick behind it is we're playing Simon Says. So right away I'm going to stop the clock tower there, and the reason for that is the thing with this fight is Phantom, this clock tower here, once it starts ticking, it will possess Peter Pan with a timer. Once that timer reaches 0, Peter Pan would be permanently removed from the fight. And the whole cycle would continue again with then moving on to Goofy and then moving on to Sora. Right now, he's being very generous. There are 4 orbs that we're looking for. There is a white orb, which is physical, yellow, which we're seeing right now, which is thunder, and then this red one right here is fire. We have to correspond to those orbs, and that's literally the whole nature of the fight. After breaking him twice, he'll go to the clock tower, spit out an orb, which can be fully avoided by just going to the other side of the clock tower that he's not currently on, because otherwise, if that orb goes around you, you have to wait for that orb to run out before Phantom will start his next session of attacks. And on top of that, you're getting dealt damage by his orb, so that's the reason as to why you see us moving off to the side there. I don't know who discovered that you could do that, but it's a really nifty trick that I'm glad whoever discovered it because it makes this so much nicer to deal with. The other thing with this fight that I'm doing, even though it's a boring, repetitive fight, the big thing with this is it's very easy to lose a lot of time. One, because of RNG in this fight, but also because of losing control in this fight in terms of where Phantom's positioned. I want to try and have Phantom's back facing the tower and kind of close to the tower, so that way after I break him for a 3rd time, he's quick to the tower versus being super far out and having to take that extra time to get to the tower before utilizing his next attack. So again, like I said, even though this fight is kind of one of the boring ones in this run, it's still a lot that you got to do in order to be efficient in this fight. So at this point, I'm not going to stop the clock anymore because I don't want Goofy or Peter Pan to be around by the end of this fight. So when Phantom is on his last hit, if it ends up being a physical attack and Goofy or Pan were still around and were to break that physical bubble, I would have to deal with another sequence of Phantom going to the tower before I could end the fight. And it's not so much a big deal, it eats up time, unfortunately, and because of Kirsty's giving us an elixir during that last fight, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop one now. That's the other reason that getting a 1 cycle on Kurt Ziza is very nice, because you're able to save your elixir, especially for this fight, because the Phantom can be a bit of a pain and give you nothing but thunders or just a sheer series of magic attacks that you gotta do, and especially with thunders, it drains 1 MP bar for every thunder that you have to do. So the less thunders I have to worry about in this fight, the better. It is that I do not have to really worry too much more about having to burn an item. Goofy and Peter Pan typically will do a good job of replenishing me in this fight, but sometimes they end up just burning it on themselves, unfortunately. That was a very good fight. Actually the best fight I've ever had for this, because of him doing physical attacks wanting physical attacks consistently. It's the quickest series of attacks that you can do, because if he does a full 3 physical attacks, you can do a full air combo on him, which is much quicker than having to cast magic on a consistent basis. So now it's time for our last fight of the 1FM sequence, known as Unknown. Similar to Mysterious Figure, he's a little less intimidating than Mysterious Figure, actually, but he's still dangerous, even though we're at max level in this. With it being Proud Mode, there's a maneuver that he can do, which locks me out of being able to heal and locks my commands until I release it. And if that happens, it also drains my health very quickly, which on Proud Mode, it's very, very dangerous even further because of the fact that your health is just gone in a hurry. So if you take a lot of damage and you happen to get locked out by his attack, we got locked out. Wasn't expecting him to do it. All right. No. Ah. Yep. That can happen, unfortunately. And the big thing with it too is his release is completely random into where it's popping in the slots. It does slow down over time, which again is kind of the important thing, to try and keep your health up if you can as best as possible. Otherwise, it makes it really tough to be able to get out of the to be able to break out of this. Oh, we got lucky there. Thankfully, Leaf Tracer kind of saved us there, and I think we also got hit by something else, so we didn't get completely locked out. But basically, what we're going to be doing for the remainder of this fight is just ambushing him with Ars Arcanums here until he goes into his DM state here, which is actually coming up very quickly. And at that point, I'm gonna just pop both Mega, or I'm gonna pop both my Elixir and Mega. I meant to pop just an Elixir, but during his DM, I'm gonna try and position him close to the wall, because after this, he's gonna do a counterclockwise rotation of an attack, and all those red lasers make it to where I can't do anything. I can't guard against them, I can't really dodge against them, hit through them, and that was a pretty good second effort there. And similar to, again, with BBS, we're able to soft reset the game, allowing us to be able to get out of there a little bit quicker than having to skip the cutscene for having finished the fight, getting back to the save point, and then going to title screen. I don't have that luxury with 2FM, so that's kind of why that's the last portion of the run for the time being. But hopefully everyone's enjoying the run so far. Definitely apologize for that cycling back in BBS. It unfortunately can happen with Mysterious Figure, especially because he's so unpredictable, and a lot of his maneuvers can be a full kill no matter what you do, and so it's what makes it very tough. But it's a very fun, challenging run. That's the biggest reason I love how much I've progressed with this, and hope to be able to take it to a whole nother level, even further at some point. So now with Sephiroth again, we're going to do a full combo there. Normally Sephi will knock me into the air afterwards, but he decided that he didn't want to do that, so there we go. And then I'm going to follow up with Infinity afterwards. And then I'm going to revert, pop on an elixir, get close to Sephiroth here. And we're going to go reflect, slapshot, reflect, slapshot, reflect. It was supposed to be reflect, slapshot, reflect, but unfortunately it did fire because my L1 kind of stuck there, but still a really good fight. If he follows up with Fire Pillar after he powers up, that's kind of the best case scenario, because Sephiroth is in a very vulnerable state at that point. And Reflect Magic in 2FM is very powerful, to where we're able to deal a lot of damage in a hurry, and especially having Combo Master with combo pluses and finishing pluses as well, we're able to pop off a bunch more reflects while doing that whole entire combo, thus allowing us to dish out a lot of damage that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get done. And so folks are probably wondering, why did I go back to the title screen to load up another save? So when I initially was going to do this Super Boss Rush, my saves were wildly off to the point where it would have taken so long just to get back to the point of being able to do those fights. So I just made 3 separate save files from different time periods, so that I could be able to do this kind of run. And so now Lingering Wheel here is going to do a tether. We're able to dodge roll through these 3 attacks here. And we're going to do 2 combos here, go into another Duck Flare, followed by another Mega Flare, and we're just going to do aerial spirals the whole entire way here. And now his health bar is down to the point where once he pops out of this, he's going to be going into his DM state. And I do this fight this way just because it kind of gets a chance to show off Lingering Will in a different light versus getting constantly stun locked by Peter Pan or doing the double negative finisher strat that is out there. And it's also a chance to kind of show off like the different ways of being able to avoid certain attacks as well. And after we do that full combo there, we're going to go into final form. Normally I do thunder coming out of that, but I forgot to do that, so it was just Firagas until the end there. And so now we have 14 bosses left through 13 fights. One of those bosses is a 2-parter, so that's why we have 14 bosses in 13 fights. So our next section here is good old data.org. This whole entire thing, we are not RNG manipulating. There's a way to do data.org in a very specific order and matter, to where everything is lined up perfectly. I decided to make it more fun and just do it in a roundabout way, to where it's a little more interesting. So we're going to go into limit form right away here. Do a full combo with all 3 finishers. Follow up with the Ars Arcanum. Do a 1-2 hit. And follow with the second Ars Arcanum. After doing that, I revert. By that point, usually Roxas is retaliating, so I'm able to go straight back into limit form and be able to guard the rest of his attack. Follow up with a full ground combo with Zensusuken, which does a lot of damage, and then be able to follow up with another Ars Arcanum to end the fight. So for Marluxia, we're going to open up with a Blizzard, Thunder, Blizzard, Fire. We're going to move forward slightly, pop a Mega Elixir, and Reflect. The reason for popping the Mega Elixir the way that we're doing it is to prevent Donald from dying. Because if Donald dies, then once we are able to start damaging Marluxia here, I did way too much damage, unfortunately. I goofed. Gonna have to improvise here. Might be able to save this somehow. Ooh, yeah, we're gonna be able to save this. A little bit slower of a fight, but still managed to be able to save from getting DM'd and also kind of losing complete control of the fight. I didn't quite let Marluxia touch the ground, unfortunately, after starting my Firagas, which caused Marluxia to teleport away and start barraging me with those attacks. And thankfully, I was able to get that sorted out. So Demyx is a very RNG heavy fight because of his water clones here. So a strat that's been is going to be used here is a combination of Duck Flare and Fires. So while the Mega Flare is going off for Donald, we're going to be using Fire here to deal with the water clones. And as soon as we pop our Duck Flare, we're immediately popping Mega Elixir so that we can go straight into Mega Flare and also be able to have Sora using Fire at the same time as that's all going off. So we're going to do one more Mega Flare here because this is the final sequence before Demyx is going to be broken. I'm going to use another Mega Flare here. I'm going to use another Mega Flare here. Oh. That's fine. We lost a little bit of control here. Okay, this is not good. I might die here. Should be a first. If I can get this to happen. Alright, now we got control again. No, we don't got control again. Yeah, no, I lost control. I did that so wrong. And that, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. I did that end sequence very, very wrong there. I think the first time I've ever actually legitimately died to Demyx without running out of time. We got this though. But yeah, the thing that makes this very RNG heavy is Demyx's water clones don't go the same way every single time, and they can either go shooting all the way out, or they can just decide to stay close to Demyx, which is what we really want, because while Sora's using Fires, that is kind of the best thing that we could ask for. Let me use Wisdom Form here for just a moment. And so we're going to go into Final Form now. And we're going to just put Demyx over into a corner while utilizing Final Form Firaga here. We can't fully kill Demyx, unfortunately, until after we go through another sequence of water clones. We're going to revert, do a quick flash step to put Demyx fully in a corner, launch Duck Flare again, and just follow up again with Mega Flares and Fires. And so the reason that we want Demyx in a corner is it makes it a little bit more likely that his water clones are going to stay over in a corner, thus allowing us to be able to destroy his water clones a lot quicker here. Because otherwise, if we were still out in the open, unfortunately, we would not be able to have this kind of power of being able to destroy his clones this quickly here. I'm going to do Mega Flare one more time here. And we're going to go Final Form for one last time, because this is the final sequence here. Yeah, having Demyx over in a corner makes it so that way we have absolute control of his water clones. to an extent, and it makes life so much easier in the final sequences. And so with Cyx here, I'm going to use kind of an older strat. I'm going to open up with Thunders until we're out of finishers. After which, we're going to go into Cyx like that, and then we're going to pop Final Form, and we're just going to do Final Form Firagas the entire way. The general theme with Data.org is Final Form Firaga, because Final Form Firaga is kind of the strongest maneuvers that we have in the game. And is one of the strongest combinations that we have in terms of forms. It's also something that's utilized a lot in KH3 Data.org. Even though it's not Final Form, there are certain Keyblade form transformations that allow you to do kind of a Final Form Firaga strat. We're not going to show off Whirligoof. I haven't gotten good enough with Whirligoof yet to be able to do it consistently. So we're going to do kind of an improv strat here. We're going to be utilizing Final Form Firaga once again, and we're just going to be doing this until we're down to the last of our MP, quickly revert into a Mega Flare, and do a full combo to finish out the fight. Because we don't have enough damage without Lexius recovering, so that's kind of why I do that little improv strat there. It's a nice little backup to doing Whirligoof. Whirligoof is an amazing strat. I definitely recommend anyone checking it out to try and learn, as it's a really cool setup and everything else. So now we're really going to get into the cool, fun, technical stuff here. We're going to reflect, go into Final Form here. Oh, there we go. We're going to do a double fire down to the ground. We're going to reset the combo here and finish out the fight doing it this way here. Yeah, maybe. Okay. We were a little too close to, we were a little too low below Zoltan there, so I kind of got a little worried that he was going to break out. Final Form air combo strats are such an amazing sight to see. It's a very technical aspect, and the reason we have to keep him at a certain distance is to be able to hit the ground and be able to reset the combo. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm going to take a quick death here. Just hopefully try and show this off real quick. So for this Xemnas fight here, we're going to open up with a Reflect, Slapshot, Reflect type combo, and we're going to do that the entire way until we go into Limit Form. And then we'll follow up immediately with an Ars Arcanum. Into Limit Form, followed by Ars. Then we're going to do a full ground combo here with Zentetsuken, quickly revert, do that, and we're going to... Oh. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was not expecting his health to still be that high, and I kept having my L1 button stick just long enough that fire was coming out instead of Slapshot. Unfortunate, but it happens. So we're just going to do a finish here. Normally, you don't have to worry about seeing this tower RC movement here. Oh, right, he's immune to thunder. I'm not normally in base Sora at this point. I'm usually in limit form, so I usually just pop Infinity to finish out the fight. So from here, we're going to go to the opposite end of the arena to where Final Xemnas is at. We're not going to do anything with this first little attack here. Oh. I have to do it kind of like that. Unfortunately, got lasers right away because I kind of goofed on the opening combo, but that's fine. We're still strong enough that lasers, getting lasered like this is not entirely a big deal. It just makes it slower. So we're just going to be reflecting the whole entire way here. Until we get down to enough of his health that he will do his dome. Since we're not on PC, we do not have the I don't have the luxury of doing. I don't have the luxury of ending the fight without having to deal with this laser dome. On PC, there's an actual data org mod in place that allows for dome skips, similar to how 2FM randos are. So now we're just gonna mesh through his little dome here, and at the very end, he'll actually be left at 1 HP, and then we'll end the fight using Session. It's much similar to the story version. We get to see this a second time during data org, unfortunately. There wasn't really... It would have been really cool if there would have been a legitimate way to actually skip it, since you can put him down to 1 HP, but again, kind of like with the story, can't do that, so it does suck, but it's still a cool design overall. Both the first fight, especially with this the strat that's involved with the reflect slapshot combo all the way into limit form, is such a cool strat, just because of the technicality behind it, but also just all the cool stuff that's going into it all at once. So next up, we have Data Xigbar, so we're going to be getting another chance to see Final Form at its peak. So we're going to be switching Keyblades once again. So something I forgot to mention, the reason we have to switch Keyblades for Zaldin and Xigbar is because we want air combo boost for our Final Form strat in order to be able to dish out the damage that we're looking to dish out. And much like with Zaldin, I need Xigbar to be at a specific height, which he's at the perfect height right now, and I goofed. Couldn't get around that. This isn't an ideal situation, unfortunately, but we're able to recover it really quickly here. Just going to do a couple horizontal slashes into Final Form, and we're just going to basically repeat the exact same process that we did with Zaldin. We're going to hit the ground with the double Fire Raga, which allows us to reset our air combo here, and we're just going to do this the whole entire way. There is a way to do Final Form combo strat from the very get-go. It's a little trickier with Xigbar. The thing with Xigbar is, in order to get like the true potential of the combo, you need to be facing Xigbar during that whole entire combo. So if you're not facing him at all, if you try and do the faster rendition, you will not have enough damage, unfortunately. So here we're going to intentionally whiff some attacks on Vexen. And the reason for that is... Oh, that's unfortunate. I did it way too soon. I rushed it. So if you try and rush Vexen here, he also, unfortunately, cannot be rushed in terms of damage. Otherwise, you will hit his DM state, which is what we did. I prematurely went a little too soon. I needed to wait for him to shield up one more time before I would be able to follow up with... Before I'd be able to follow up with a another combo on him. Because Vexen is a very tricky one to DM skip, because you have to do the damage output at a very precise point so that you get a certain moveset from him, which allows you to be able to DM skip him as long as you do those properly. Otherwise, even if you try and full send it, you will get DM'd. And that's kind of something that isn't necessarily mentioned with how his fight is designed. Ooh, perfect. We were able to catch Zexion a little bit quicker here. So Zexion tries to capture your friends in his books, and we have to break them out using magic or physical attacks. It's just quicker to do fires on the books, since both your teammates are usually right there. And once we break the books at least twice. We have a chance to do it a third time if he gets trapped, but I was able to catch the Zexy in there, so I didn't have to worry about that. Just go straight into the final form after that. So Axel here, we're going to do a Reflect, Blizzard, Reflect. And I have to do this kind of a little off because he didn't exactly follow through the way I wanted him to. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to do this real quick. I'm dead. I'm dead. Yeah, unfortunately, I did my combo wrong there. And Axel also didn't come at me the way I needed him to come at me to kind of prevent him getting staggered. It's still, you're still able to recover from it. It just makes it a little interesting. Okay. I have to do this a little weird again. So, with Axel, the way I kind of do it, because it depends on how he cooperates for me, because it's a little tricky. When he goes to come at you, just like a split second coming at you, you want to do a Blizzard into Reflect, followed by Blizzard, Blizzard, and then just rinse and repeat that process until you're done with the fight. And so here we're going to open up with a Reflect, Slide Dash Reflect into Final Form. Or Final, not Slide Dash, Flash Step. And then we're just going to do Final Form, Firagas here for just a little bit. And then I'm going to pop a Mega Elixir, Reflect into a Fire, which will finish out the rest of the fight there. And the reason for doing that is Larxene will automatically retaliate at that point. And so casting Reflect into the Fire combo there will dish out an immense amount of damage to end the fight. So our final fight is Luxord. We're not going to be doing the quick release strat because we're not doing the manip. So I'm going to be doing it kind of old, somewhat old school. This is basically kind of how I approach my fight in my any percent runs. Minus having the ability to do a third Trinity Break because don't have that capability. Gonna go into the limit form here, pop a Mega Elixir, and do a full Ars to Arcanum all the way up until the finisher. Do 1-2, and then into another sequence of Ars, not doing the finisher, same thing, and then following up all the way to the finisher again. Then I'm going to do a complete full combo with the second finisher, and he's going to do that and go underground, which is perfectly fine. As we're going to quickly find this card, do a full ground combo here, followed by Thunder, and hope that he plays the game, which is perfect. And then we're just going to do Aerial Spirals and hope that he does the game again. And we're going to go into Trinity once again. And we're just going to do a full thing here. Once we're out of Trinity once again, we're going to pop Limit Form, and we're going to do another Ars Arcanum series here. Followed by 1-2, into another Ars. And time's going to be coming up here right now.
Dude, incredible run.
Thank you. Yeah, despite all the death cycling there at the very beginning, it still was a very well put together run. I'm very happy with it, and being able to show it off in this setting, because like I said, this started out initially as a 1FM 2FM run, and then once I got my time for that down to a certain point, I'm like, all right, I'm adding on Birth by Sleep now, and we're going to see how far we can get down with that. And we've gotten that down to a certain point now, so now the next edition, which we're working on behind the scenes, is KH3, so The ultimate goal is I want to do a complete Super Boss Series rush in that kind of setting, and just to see like how far I can push it and push myself, and just be able to show off an incredible series of bosses that you seriously don't get to really see in that kind of setting. And it's still tough because like even though I'm max level, it's still the highest difficulty, and any missteps for the most part will result in death, as we saw. But yeah,
Yeah, if they
nonetheless,
get away from you, they just kind of
y-
roll you over. Huh?
yeah. But yeah, thank you all seriously so much for having me on. Like it was an absolute pleasure. I was ecstatic um, being able to be part of this, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If people are looking to like learn this kind of stuff, super boss rushes or like how to get better at the super bosses, is there like a place people can go?
um, Unfortunately for this, not really right now, because the crazy thing is it's not an official category. Unfortunately, it's just kind of something I put together um, with like its own rule sets, which I'm still kind of adapting for the most part. But if people are definitely interested in learning it, they can feel free to hit me up if they want. I'll try to help them out until it kind of becomes more of an official thing. Because as of now, I've kind of just taken everything from the data org portion that I've learned that's available, and then the birth by sleep stuff is kind of stuff I've taken bits and pieces from, and the 1FM stuff for the most part has been kind of stuff I've been doing on my own. So um, there's not really a whole lot out there, unfortunately, to kind of like fully learn it. But I'm definitely down to make something so that if people want to do this, then because it's an amazing run, and it's a very challenging run again, outside of like the normal stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, hey, again, thank you for the run. Thank you for coming on and showing off. And
thank you.
I'd say we'd hope to see you around, but unfortunately, this is One-and-Done-athon. So this was your one shot, your one opportunity. And as we say around here, goodbye forever, IBA all day.
See y'all later.
And thank you again for the run. So we're going to go to a quick break. For people who are just coming in now, towards the end of the day, we've only got a few runs left for you. We've got Sonic CD, followed by Master Spy, followed by Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, and then Metroid Dread. But if you missed any of these runs, or if you want to see them, some of the earlier ones, youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And most of the VODs will be up within 24 to 48 hours. So you can check those out there. But like I said, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with Sonic CD by Xandria69.